I'm still learning a lot more. First, before I go on, what this video is going to be called, simply the Seder Hishtalshelus Meteor explained, or the Seder Hishtalshelus Hishtalshelus, or shell us at the end, thal in the beginning, hish at the in the middle, hish at the beginning, stall in the middle, shell us at the end. The Seder Hishtalshelus, or Seder Hishtalshelus. You can say it any kind of way. But before I go on to explaining what the meteorite is about, I want to maybe give some words or say some words that'll support the tarot readers, those who do tarot reading on this here YouTube channel, or to just do it in general. You follow what I'm saying? I want to see if I can say some words out loud that may support what you do, because let's never forget, my whole thing is foundational destruction or change. Whenever I say destruction, I mean change. Why do I keep using words like destruction to talk about change? Well, let's never forget, in this world, everything that's seen as good is classified, everything that's really good is classified as evil, and everything that's really evil is classified as good. You follow what I'm saying? So I'm working opposites here. It's code language to slither past the enemy's ways and like hyper enlighten the melanated people of the planet. You follow what I'm saying? That's what it's for. But here, check this out though, right? So I've been doing some extreme, or not extreme so to speak, but some stronger studying. And in my stronger studies, I come to find this information here in regards to the Seder Hishtalshelus and how they relate to the tarot cards, the tarot reading cards. Maybe. I want to see if I can say something to help support the tarot readers. For example, my dear sister with the pretty lips, Shavi Zane. I don't know if you married or not. I'll be careful as I speak towards you because I mean, just be honest. Integrity is the foundation of my tongue. You are beautiful. I don't necessarily watch your channel to see you play with those cards. It's just seeing you. Moving along. Here. So I found out that the tarot reading cards have a lot of connections to the sapphire rots from the Kabbalah, from the Kabbalistic tree of life. Jewish Hebrew, or Hebrew Jewish. So in other words, the tarot reading information, or the tarot reading cards, holds their roots in the Jewish Hebrew, or Hebrew Jewish, I want to say pantheon, no, because the pantheon is a list of gods. I don't want to say mythology, because the when it comes to anything Jewish Hebrew related, it's pretty real, or it's pretty straightforward, and it's pretty what it is, if that makes sense to you. So I find the tarot reading cards hold a lot of information, hold a lot of roots in Jewish Hebrew ideologies, information, just information. It's all just information in my opinion. And as I'm studying, I find this, how if you ever watched a tarot reading channel, they always talk about the pentacles and the swords and the cups and the wands. They always talk about the aces of pentacles and the twos of swords and tens of wands. You know, they just talk about things like that. What do they mean? What do those titles mean? Well, here's what I found so far. Here's what they connect to. The first sapphire rot, Kether, or ether spelt with a K at the beginning of it. It means inception. And that's what the aces represent. Whenever they tell you aces of something, aces represents the Kether, or the inception. I'm still studying. I'm still learning. So I don't have the full absolute definitions of every single word here. But I want to just tell you this for starters. Then you got the second one, Hokman, the second sapphire rot, meaning formulation. Those where your twos come from. The aces come from the Kether, or represent the Kether. The twos represent the Hokman. I'm guessing aces are ones, the number one. Binah, the third one, meaning conception, threes. Hesed, four, meaning consolidation, your fours. Fifth one, Gevurah. See where I'm going? Gevurah means destabilization. And those are your fives come from, or that's what the fives represent in tarot reading, I believe. I'm not going to lie to you. I don't know if this is true or not. But as you hear my words, what are you gathering from this information? Is it supporting your foundation for what you decide to practice in what you do? If that makes sense to you. 6, Tiphareth. For the tarot reading, it means dispensation. And the sixes represent that. For number 7, Netzach, the Netzach Sephiroth, meaning implementation. The 7s represent that. The 6s represents the Tiphareth. The 7s represent the Netzach, but it means implementation. Those are the key words I want you to take there, if that may help. Then the 8th one, Had, the Had Sephiroth, meaning coagulation. That's what it means for in regards to the tarot reading. That's where your 8s come from, or what your 8s represent. I think so far. I don't know for sure, not 100% factual certainty, but when I studied this, and I remember looking at those beautiful women play with their cards and put them all in the screen and show you like the tens of wands or tens of pentacles and whatnot. I don't know what you're talking about, but you are beautiful. And it's just good to see the God body, the God family body do anything other than what the white folks want them to do. Because remember, you can click off. I'm not posting these videos for you to watch anyways. Anyway, when I see any member of the God body doing something other than what white people want them to do, it just makes me happy to see at the same time. Because let's never forget, the only thing the so-called white people want you to do due to what the actual devil wants them to do, the only thing the so-called white people want you to do is be conditioned to drive towards self-destruction. They just want you to drive towards self-destruction, and they spend years conditioning and driving and grooming people to be this self-destructive nature, so they can be independent with it, meaning you will automatically drive yourself to self-destruction due to all the work they have put in to ensure that you would. You see, people who do tarot reading cards, or people who do the tarot reading, there's like super positive energy pushing into the world, and super positive energy is what destroys and or eliminates the fog that blocks your abilities to see what righteousness actually is. It just does it subliminally because of how many things have been buried and hidden and erased and buried and hidden and erased, just for the sole purpose of ensuring that these so-called white people can play games with the so-called black people all day long. You follow what I'm saying? Moving along. I'm on number 8, I believe. Here's more of it. 8 means Had. 8 is Had, coagulation. That's what it means. Those are the 8s. 9, Yesod, Emanations. That's what it says. And those what your 9s represent. And 10, Malkuth, meaning completion. That's what your 10s represent. 10s, completion. I remember my dear sister Light always talking about how the number 10, Light is I believe her actual name on that Instagram page was Beriah. I just look forward to uniting all of you and just seeing us all use these words to just tear down all of the foul white spell that's plagiarizing our mind, heart, psyche spaces. Wait till I explain the Seder Hishtalshelus Meteor to you. It ain't got nothing to do with tarot. It's just something that I personally made up by using the information from the Jewish Hebrew Seder Hishtalshelus to make it up. Kind of like Hitler stole Buddhism or Hinduism's swastika sign and started terrorizing our family members with it on him to make it seem like what this is what's really attacking you versus what's wearing it attacking you. You follow what I'm saying? So those are the 10 sapphire rods. Once again, Kether meaning inception, your aces represent that. Hokman meaning formulation, your 2s represent that. Binah meaning conception, 3s represent that. Hesed meaning consolidation, 4s represent that. Gevurah, destabilization, 5s represent that. What could destabilization mean? Triple 5s, angel number, connect the dots, connect the dots. Angel number 5s, change, destruction. How you gonna repent if you don't know what you're repenting from or what you're repenting towards next? A very, very magnificent family member of mine made a comment on a video a while back when I put the definition of repent online. And he said, look up the word metanoia because it means to change one's mind or change one's way of thinking. What are you changing your way of thinking from? And what are you changing your way of thinking to next? Dive deeper into all of this stuff. This is a good way to distract you, quite literally. A bad way to distract you would to be ensured that you don't realize what you need to be doing. And then you'll be ending up marching on to your own self-destruction, as the so-called white people, for some reason, who knows why they're doing it actually, want you to do. Moving along. Tiphareth, dispensation. 6s represent that. Netzach, inflammation. 7s represent that. Ha, coagulation. 8s represent that. Yesod, emanation. 9s represent that. And Malkuth, 10, completion. 10s represent that. Yeah. Now moving forward. So the Seder Hishtalshelus 4 worlds of Kabbalah. They are of Assiah, Yetzirah, Beriah, and Atziluh. In order, Atziluh will be at the top, or something called Zimzum will be at the top. Zimzum, the process of creation, that's what that means. And Zimzum is where the Kether is lined up, if I'm correct on that one. Here, I'm going to just keep it with the four worlds. Atziluh, meaning emanations. Beriah, meaning creation. Yetzirah, meaning formation. And Assiah, meaning action. There's also a fifth world that's a part of this here Seder Hishtalshelus four world. They just added it to it. And it is called Assiah Geshmi, meaning physical action. Such simple things, you know. You want to know why it's all so simple? Because it's talking about subliminally the truth regarding a very simplistic God of love. All of this information is talking about a very simplistic God of love. All of it is. Or it could be called many things, this here power that I speak of. I, personally, at the current moment in time, like to refer to the God I believe in as the God of righteousness behavior. Righteousness behavior is my God. That's my God right there. Righteous behavior. Now, of course, melanated people worldwide are the actual real God here, but who does the energy of righteousness manifest through the most, without anything else influencing it to go any other opposite direction other than righteousness? The melanated people, of course. So I want to explain this to you more now. The Seder Hishtalshelus Meteor explained. So I have 5 parables. The video I just did before this one, it talks about the Seder Hishtalshelus destruction format. It's pretty much this right here, explained again. Just more ordered and more with more awareness of the Seder Hishtalshelus. Because I ain't gonna lie, when I did that video the other day, I didn't have too much information on the Seder Hishtalshelus, but now I do. And with that information, I'm going to combine it more so into my ideology. So here is the Seder Hishtalshelus Meteor explained. But first, know the 5 parables of them. Seder Hishtalshelus, chain descent of the metaphysical foreworld. It also means process of creation. The first one, or the 0th one, so technically 6. But like I said, when you get to the 6th-dimensional thinking mind and beyond, everything becomes infinite for you. The first one being Zimzum, process of creation. I don't have a parable set up for that one. I don't need to, just the 5 ones, or the 4, or the major ones. But I just learned about the Zimzum, and it means process of creation. It represents, when I looked it up and when I studied it, it talks about how this here, what makes this reality what it is at base, the fire energy, it talks about how this specific energy here wrapped itself around the infinite light source, and they call it Ein Sof. This here energy, this here reality wrapped itself around the infinite light source and became the descent of the metaphysical 4 worlds. That's what Zimzum talks about, the process of creation. It talks about how, in the Hebrew Jewish information, it talks about how this here reality wrapped itself around the infinite light like a firmament, like it's firmly sealing in a mentality of some sort, a mentality. You all believe the firmament is the ceiling of the planet. I personally believe the firmament is the ceiling of the universe. Me personally. You can believe whatever you want. I'm going to love you regardless, so it doesn't matter. Moving forward. So, Zimzum, process of creation. This here fire glass-like reality wrapping itself around the water and light energy thereof to become the finite metaphysical 4 worlds. And the finite metaphysical 4 worlds are as follows, starting with Atziluh, which means emanations. Beriah, meaning creation. Yetzirah, meaning formation. Assiah, meaning action. And Assiah Gashmi, meaning physical action. Now, here's the significance of why I want to use these for my personal my personal desires. Here's where my Seder Hishtalshelus Meteor explanation truly begins to kick. So, for the Atziluh, meaning emanations, I have my source parable lined up. I'm going to tell you what they are in a second. Beriah, creation, I have my psyche parable lined up. The conscious mind, subconscious mind, and unconscious mind, the physical body. It's all connected and hooked up into one. as you are reconnected with God already. You've been reconnected with the personification of righteousness. You've always have been your entire life. Why do you think right things feel right and wrong things feel wrong? Why do you think that is? Because you've been hooked up to this true God for your entire lives. Actually, for all of... Know this. The feminizing, the emasculating feminine spirit first started in the Archean Eon, what they call the Silver Age, around the time when men were being ruled by their mothers and they died early because of it. I don't hate women. I love goddesses. The thing is, you need to know why what's wrong is what's wrong. And according to what I've studied, the feminist harlotry emasculating spirit first started 4.031 billion years ago. And this here emasculating feminizing spirit or harlotry spirit that lasted 4.3031 billion years ago has been trying to cover up, seal, and destroy as best it could an untouchable, ageless personification of a righteous God truth. A lie has been trying to cover a truth. A 4.031 billion year old lie has been trying to cover up an ageless truth for 4 billion years, you see. And it just so happens that this here lie can be labeled and described as a harlotry spirit or an emasculation spirit or the feminist spirit, you see. This here concept is going to be a meteor that'll crash and impact within thy mind, heart, psyche spaces and drive every foul belief system to extinction. Drive every foul principality sin to extinction. Drive every enemy regulation force to extinction. And then drive every lie and falsity, all the ignorance you have plagiarizing your mind, heart spaces, all the fear you have plagiarizing your mind, heart spaces, all of these things will be driven to extinction. When I properly explain to you how my Seder Hishtalshelus Meteor is going to impact your psyches and ensure that they will be driven to extinction. Moving along. Yetzirah, meaning formation. My element parable is going to be here. The four major elements of the world. I'm most likely going to add the other two. Or three. Source, ether, and astral, of course. Those are elements in my opinion. Astral, source, and ether are elements. And everything that's connected to the astral, everything that's connected to the ether, and everything that's connected to the source. The light source. Source, astral, ether. Those are the three other elements right there. And then fifth, Assiah Gashmi. Physical action. I missed one. 4, Assiah, action. I'm going to be using my destruction spells parable for this one right here to make sense. I'm going to explain it all to you in a moment. My destruction spell parable will be used for this one. What did the destruction spell consist of? I'm going to tell you in a second. And then the Assiah Gashmi, meaning physical action. The 4-in-1 emotion parable will be used for that one. Okay, now here we go. So, the first one, right? See that? The first one, right? Atziluh, emanations. Don't take this the wrong way. I don't even care if you would. Actually, I kind of don't care what you believe in, because once this here meteor impacts your mind, heart, psyche spaces, everything foul in it will be driven to extinction. I won't have to worry about what you think about anymore. Take this explanation with you. It's a 4-part explanation to label and describe the first parable for Atziluh. As above, so below. The Most High God, the personification of righteousness, moves towards, within, and throughout. There's physical reality below it. But in reality, it's actually on the same even playing field. It's just that we go by as above, so below due to that Baphomet symbol that uses it. So now I'm just going to be using everything that it used against us, against it. That's what I'm doing here. As above, so below. So below. The Most High God's personification of righteousness moves to, within, and throughout all of reality itself. The true Most High God's personification of righteousness is omnipresent, omnidirectional, omni, meaning everywhere. Something bigger than pan, because pan means encompassing and all around. Like when our great brother, Dr. Umar Johnson, talks about being a Pan-Africanist. Pan means encompassing and all around. Omnipresent is more than what a pan is, you see. And then the next part of the parable, as within, so throughout. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18, the truth about the atoms, and or what I would consider the atoms myself personally. Check this if you would. When I first started, my entire philosophy was based on the way they have the atomic atoms set up and looking, right? meaning they have the protons inside of the nucleus with the neutrons inside of the nucleus surrounding them, and then the electrons being the orbital of the atom. The more I began to go through my series of learning and whatnot, I come to find that I don't think that's true. I think our atom looks like Saturn. You follow what I'm saying? The Saturn atom theory. The Saturn atom theory consists of this, where the protons and the electrons are inside of the nucleus, whereas the orbital are the neutrons. And since the neutrons are a balanced energy naturally, all you're going to see is a circle. It starts from a circle and moves out into an even bigger circle. Circle. Have things come full circle for you yet? I'm going to keep pushing it until everything in the world has their full circle moment, like I did about, 10 months ago? Actually, the day I was born, dang near. Moving along. The second part of the parable, as within, so throughout. Revelation chapter 13, verse 18. Let he who hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man. And that number is 603, not just 666. Remember, we started out as giants and Amazons. We didn't start out as these tiny people that we are today currently. Giants and Amazons, yeah? 600, meaning 600 protons. 30, meaning 30 electrons. At first, I had switched it up, but now I'm going to change it back to 30 electrons. And those 600 protons and those 30 electrons will be inside of the nucleus of the atom, which then in turn makes the orbital, the neutrons, the physical body, which means we have a physical body, neutronic flesh, not an electronic flesh. The electrons somewhere else. I'm going to tell you in a second. But the neutrons are the physical body. This is what I personally believe. We have a balanced physical body. Our physical bodies are always infinitely stable. Our physical bodies are always infinitely stable until things outside of them ruin their process of natural growth into more physical balance and stability. Moving along. So, the third part of the first parable. So I said, as within, so throughout. 600 protons, half a score electrons, and 6 neutrons. What is a 3 score? A 3 score, what is that? If a 1 score equals 20 and a 2 score equals 40, then a 3 score would equal 60, right? Did you know our women are even with us in the soul space? So that means they have half a score in their minds. Yeah. So whenever our brethren and our sisters, or the gods and goddesses, work towards a task together in mind, it's like you're putting the literal power of a cosmic shaking universe into your task. Have you any idea how powerful the man and woman's mindsets are, or minds period are, when they are used together as the whole thing they were always meant to be? More powerful. I'm sure you can say more words to label and describe how more powerful a man and woman's cooperation together will be in this world here. Why do you think they spend so much time trying to separate it? Should have been married 20 years ago. Moving forward. Third part of the parable, as within, so throughout. So you got the 6s within you and the 6s without you, or throughout you. Or you just got one set of 6s that make up the entirety of your physical body as a whole. You follow me? Now, as within, so throughout. Now, as is the atom, why do I do this goofy thing here to try to represent an infinite, like, tiny little atom spot, you know what I'm saying? And then I'm going to flip my little fingers, you know what I'm saying, and combine them like this, you know what I'm saying? And then the next, that represents your grounds right there, the universe itself. As is the atom, so is the universe. That's the third part. As within, so throughout. As is the atom, so is the universe. That's the third part. Why do I do this? Your foundational grounds. This is me trying to represent what I'm going to have you all walking on. Righteous energy for all the days of your lives. Continuing. So, as is the atom, so is the universe. These are your grounds. I'm going to make these your grounds, full circle grounds, right? It just represents a circle. The Illuminati people do this with a little triangle. So I'm going to do this with a circle. Moving along. Now, as is the atom, so is the universe. You are the universe. So as is the atom, so is you, Mr. Everything, or Miss Everything, or God of everything, and Goddess of everything. Random question to all my dear sisters. If you could be a goddess of any kind, what kind of goddess would you be? Would you be the goddess of speed? Like what I would consider, what's the young lady who was talking crap about ISO speed? Shikari, I believe. Yeah, she could be the personification or the manifest or the reincarnation of the Greek goddess of speed, Nike. She could be that. You all could be anything, and you are all everything. But here's the thing, though. There is something in control of you, yourself. Or at least that's what it originally was before the devil started touching on you. Moving along. The fourth and final part of this parable. Don't forget third part. As is the atom, so is the universe. That's what you are. You are the universe. So as is the atom, so is you. Balanced. Balanced individual. The last part. A line from Marcus Garvey. As is the individual, so too should it be of the nation. I'm just going to say, as is the individual, so is the nation. As is the individual, so is the nation. Why? Because of my own personal desires to see every last person of this world stand on righteous energy for all the days of their lives. You follow what I'm saying? Now, moving along. The second one, Beriah. Remember, these are metaphysical four worlds. Metaphysical four worlds. Metaphysical internal, worlds external. Metaphysical internal, worlds external. As is the individual, so too should it be of the nation. As is the individual, so it is of the nation. The entire nation, physically, in this physical world, will all be balanced people standing on righteous energy for all the days of their lives. This is what I'm depicting into the world, right? Second, I need to hurry up because I noticed moving forward. Beriah, meaning creation. The psyche parable, conscious mind, subconscious mind, unconscious mind, and environmental mind. Simple as that. Your conscious mind, right here. Subconscious mind, heart of hearts. Unconscious mind, your physical body, and the environmental mind, the space your body is in. Moving along. Third one, Yetzirah, meaning formation. This is the elemental parable. The elemental parable. You can add just the 4 or you can say the 7. The 4, what are they? Fire, which goes into your conscious mind, or which derives from the conscious mind. Fire in your eyes, right? The heart of hearts being the water. The water is subconscious mind, epistemology. And then you have the unconscious mind, the physical solid body, the physical solid you, right? Solid character, solid stand, solid ground. Stay on them for all days of your lives, yeah? And then you got the fourth one, the environmental mind. The unconscious mind is the rock, and the environmental mind will be the air element, the space you are in, right? And then the fourth one, Assiah, the metaphysical four world, or the metaphysical fourth world, Assiah, meaning action. I'm going to be using my destruction spell parables for this one. What do my destruction spell parables consist of? Awareness of what you need to repent from and repent to. Repent from the devil spell, which is causing the white spell, and repent to, or change your mind towards, the source spell, and or you could call it, the second one, the pure spell. Purity and balance. The purity and balance spell, because those are the spells of the Most High God. Or you don't have to use the concept of a spell at all. You could just destroy anything in regards to a spell. But why do I call this destruction spell parable? Because remember, destruction means to alter something that is in one state completely to a different one. I am destroying everything, blocking your minds from seeing what righteousness is with these words here. And then the fifth and final one, Assiah Gashmi. Physical action, the 4-in-1 emotion. Remember, there's a positive human emotion, there's a balanced human emotion, there's a negative human emotion, and then there's a space human emotion. And right now, currently, the space human emotion is under the control of the white spell physically. Why? Because the devil spell, which is the negative human emotion, is driving the environmental mind, the environmental human emotion, into being subjugated unto the principles and desires of the self-destructive white nature principles. All of the so-called white people are being tasked to drive all of nature towards extinction. Why are we allowing them to drive everything towards extinction? This maybe might be able to stop them. So here's the gist right here. So I have my Soul King's military, right? Which is going to get to this here Seder Hishtalshelus Meteor. And then my Soul King's military entrenchment is going to push it towards your mind, heart, psyche spaces. And then the process, or the transcendence, or the time frame that it is going towards your mind, heart, psyche spaces to impact it, it'll be titled the Spiritual Olympic Soul Games. And once the Spiritual Olympic Soul Games are completed, the Seder Hishtalshelus Meteorite will impact and drive everything foul, plagiarizing your mind, heart spaces towards extinction. Shalom, shalom, shalom. May these words reach you. They are going to reach you for the purpose they were designed and constructed to reach you for, your well-being. And is also for the awareness of the King of all kings in your mind, heart, psyche spaces that protects these grounds upon which you stand through you. Peace, love, unity, and advancement to you all, my family.